You're welcome to DBA TV, where we discuss everything international trade. In this series, you are going to be learning about what each of the Nigerian states have to offer as far as export is concerned. I have maintained that Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars and that they can be self-sufficient, but because a number of governors comes in with not the intention of generating income, but with the intention of sharing the money. But in this particular episode, we have put together a series of video for all the Nigerian states from Abia to Zamfara, and this to enable the new governors that are coming in, or the new administration in different states of the country, to be able to take a cue from what we've shared in this video, which, by the way, covers the peculiarity of each state apart from the preamble. It talks about the profile of the profit, of the debt and income of the state. It talks about the potential of the state. It talks about the purchaser of the product the state have to offer, and of course, the exportable product, and also the proposal we have for the state, and how the state can directly profit from exporting raw materials, manufactured goods, solid minerals, and agri-commodity. I believe this will be of interest to you and maybe to your governor or to commissioner, whoever it is in your state. Thank you very much for joining. Enjoy yourself as you learn through what maybe your state is what we are looking at today, what Nigerian state have to offer. Happy listening. Thank you very much. So as usual, every week we go from preamble to peculiarities to profile to potential to purchaser to proposer, and we end up with profits. So we're on to Kebbi State. Why must this state export or support exporters? Number one, to avoid over-dependence on federal allocation. Many Nigerian states today are heavily dependent on federal allocation. Many Nigerian states today are heavily dependent on federal allocation. Without federal, and you will see as I examine Kebbi State today, the level of dependence. In fact, there are many states in Nigeria that cannot survive without allocation coming from federal government. To be able to boost the GDP of the state, that's the value of export. Export has the potential to boost the GDP of the state. To create opportunity for SME to grow, to decrease dependence on local market, because there is a huge opportunity in the foreign market, to reduce dependence on local market, to earn export proceeds and grow revenue of the state. Earn export proceeds and grow revenue of the state. To make farming and rural life become more lucrative. To make farming and rural life become more lucrative. To gain global market share and recognition. These are the value that export brings to any business, any country that is taking export seriously. The state can become home of creativity and innovation, because when you begin to export and you see what is happening in the export market, sometimes you are forced to do something that you otherwise might not even do ordinarily. But now you are forced to do it simply because of what is happening in the export market. Of course, you won't want to be left out in the export market, and that makes you to want to ensure that you take advantage of the export market. And this is very, very, very important. Job creation for the youth of the state. Industrialization catalyst. That's another opportunity available as a result of AFCFTA. Industrialization catalyst. Industrialization catalyst. Know the value of state competitive advantage. It leads the way for other states to follow. You can lead the way for other states to follow because of the high level of income that a state is capable of generating as a result of export. the state can begin to lead the way for other states to follow. The state can become independent of federal allocation, and there are numerous incentives that the citizen of the state can enjoy. It creates opportunities to maximize the indigene of your state abroad. We've talked a lot about JAPA. We have not taken time to look at the positive side of this idea of JAPA. And the positive side, in my opinion, is the fact that they can become our agent and distributors in the export market. They can work with us to look for buyers in the export market. That is the opportunity we have in having a number of your indigene abroad. It's an opportunity for poverty eradication, and I will show that in the course of my session today. It can make the state to quit the league of state depending on wasting asset like oil or depreciating asset as oil. It can help to revive the economy of the state, slow down rural and urban migration, a tax-free opportunity for exporters in the state, and utilization of idle capacity of the companies in the state. Utilization of idle capacities of the companies that are resident in the state. Viability of state can be boosted. It's a wealth-creating opportunity for the citizens of the state. It helps to exploit the potential of what the states have for export. You can yearn for more creativity because of competition and zero in on your area of strength as a state. So what do you see in this state called Kebbi State? What do you see in Kebbi State today? There are opportunities in Kebbi State. Do you see unemployment? And we're going to see the data on unemployment in Kebbi State very soon. So there are unemployment. What do you see in Kebbi State? Do you see poverty? Of course, there are poverty in Kebbi State. What do you see in Kebbi State? Do you see frustration? Of course, there are frustration in Kebbi State. What do you see in Kebbi State? Do you see opportunities in farming? Because you can actually choose to see only the negative. I think that's one mistake we are making about Nigeria. Indeed, there are challenges, no doubt. Indeed, there are challenges, no doubt. And we need to get the government to do what they need to do. But it's also interesting to know that there are a lot of foreigners in Nigeria coming in to take advantage of the population, to take advantage of the large land mass, to take advantage of the farming, to take advantage of mining, and to take advantage of the population. All right, peculiarities. Peculiarities. What are the peculiarities of this state? Kebbi State. Kebbi was founded out of Sokoto in 1991 by the Babangida regime. It has a major town, which includes some major towns, which include Kebbi, Agugu, Yewa. It lies in northwestern Nigeria with its capital in Kebbi. It's part of the Songhai Empire of the 15th century. Kebbi State is bordered by Sokoto State in the north and east, Niger to the south, Doso region of the Niger Republic to the northwest, and Republic of Benin to the west. Kebbi State is divided into 21 local governments. 21 local governments. This state occupies 36,800 square kilometers with opportunities in agri, land manufacturing, healthcare, tourism, energy, and mining. The population of this state is about 4.7 million. Major crops include millet, wheat, guinea corn, rice, onion, groundnut, cotton, maize, solid minerals, kaolin, gypsum, salt, gold, glassware, and marble. In this state, the IGR in 2019 is about 7.4 billion. The state has young population of about 2.1 million people below 15 years. This state has a rich agricultural land, major producer of rice, and that's why you have the lake rice between Lagos and Kebbi State, and that with abundant natural resources, new hub for agri-commodity, abundant livestock, and tourism. I know the Agungu Fishing Festival with the biggest fish being caught in that particular program, the Agungu Festival. Working population, working age, people that are of working age in this state is 2.3 million people. About 1.08 are not in the labor force. 1.08 million are not in the labor force. Those in the labor force is 1.2. Those in the labor force is 1.2. This is a big challenge. The profile of the state. The IGR of the state grew to 13.78 in 2020. Federal allocation was 54.6 billion, 30.8 billion IGR, 54.65 federal allocation. The debt of this state as of 2020 is 73.38 billion naira. 73.38 billion naira. With both local, domestic, and external debt. With both domestic and external debt. Look at this state. This state, the IGR of this state is 20%. Federal allocation is about 80%. The operating expense of this state, is 57%, 35 billion. So this state, if it depends only on its IGR, cannot survive. But the objective of this program every week is to show that Nigerian states are millionaires in dollars. Nigerian states have what it takes to survive, but Nigerian states are not being driven or being led by people who want to provide solutions. And the reason why I'm happy to be doing this at this time is we are providing adequate information. If we want to engage any governors in the state that want to contest right now, we should be asking, I will build road, I will build school, I will build whatever it is I'm building. Where will you get the money? Where will you get the money? Are you going to be taking loans? Or you're going to generate that income directly? Many of them will take loan. You know, it's so interesting at Nigerian state because when you leave the position, no repercussion. Someone will pile up debt for the upcoming government. And he will just pile up debt. And you ask, what has he done with the money? We can't see what he has done with the money. We can't see it. If he has built infrastructure, maybe the infrastructure will be enough to generate income, dividend, through taxes, through levies, through other means. But there's nothing to show. How can people be borrowing to fund consumption? It's appalling. But that is the situation of our dear country. It's appalling. Even though the state has what it takes, but the driver is not just interested in this. Or the drivers are not just interested in this. They don't come in to come and increase revenue. They come in to come and share the money. They call me to come and share the money. So the only thing they are interested in is how do we share the money, please? That's the most interesting, important thing here. How do we share the money? How do we share the money? That is more important than any other thing. Let's see what budget have to say about Kebbi State. According to budget report of Nigerian state, the land of equity, that's the nickname of Kebbi, with a population of about 5 million people as of 2020, has a budget of 99.68 billion. In 2020, revised because of COVID, the state incurred a sum of 35.74 on recurrent and 26 on capital expenditure. A trend analysis of Kebbi expenditure shows that the state capital expenditure has experienced a steady decline in recent years. Kebbi capital spending is in critical sector in 2020 is exactly declined from what he spent in 2019. He spent 2.92 in Ministry of Education, 1.04 in higher education, 1.08 in health. Kebbi State surpassed his VAT projection of 2.07 billion, but do not meet its IGR of 10.49. Imagine, this state spent about 35.74 billion on operating expense. But check what they are spending on education, on health. The state obtained a statutory allocation of 35.79 billion in health school as revenue. Taxes and indirect taxes, 88.35% of Kebbi generated as IGR in 2020. Kebbi State has a policy that allows MDA to spend and realize revenue as source without recourse to the appropriate quotas. This was listed as a limitation by the State Auditor General. This policy creates leakage in the system. This policy creates leakage in the system. And provide avenue for corruption to take place. Having recorded a debt to revenue of 114% and debt servicing to revenue ratio way below the threshold of 40%, it can be inferred that Kebbi State debt burden is still within sustainable limit. My own question is always, why do you have to incur this level of debt when you can generate money directly from export, which is the whole essence of having this conversation in the first place? Right. So what are the potential available in Kebbi State? Kebbi State has an agriculturally viable environment since it endowed with high soil fertility, vast farmland, and economically viable river shelter by fine tropical climate. Owing to these factors, agriculture has remained the major source of revenue and indeed the backbone of the economy of the state. Major food crop in the area of millet, gillicon, corn, maize, cassava, potato, rice, beans, onion. Vegetable white cash crop include wheat, soybeans, ginger, sugarcane, groundnut, tobacco. Are also produced in the state. Similarly, fruits such as mango, cashew, guava, pawpaw are produced under horticulture. Kebbi State has Kebbi Agricultural Development Authority, which is responsible for implementation of its agricultural policy. Kebbi State is endowed with economically viable rivers such as River Niger and the Rima, such as the Niger and Rima for development of fishery activity. Fishing has always been one of the key occupations of the inhabitants of the state. All environmental factors as well as large concentration of cattle and other animals has made the state a basic raw material source for dairy product industry. The mineral resource in the state include limestone, salt, clay, gypsum. Major crops include millet, wheat, guinea corn, rice, onion, groundnut, cotton, maize. Solid minerals include kaolin, gypsum, salt, gold, glassware, and marble. Let's now dig deeper into the potential of this product in terms of the market size for agric now, and the purchasers. Let's take it one by one. Let's look at cotton. The market size of cotton is 53.6 billion. If Kebbi State can take just 1% of this, just 1% of this, 10% of this is about 5.3 billion. 1% will be 0.5 billion. That's about $500 million. That's more than enough for this state to take care of all its needs. Can Kebbi State just take advantage of this opportunity? 53.6 billion of cotton. And in Africa, the demand is 5.1. Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, Gambia, Mali, South Africa, Mauritius, Togo are the major markets. How about corn? The market size of corn is 36.3 billion. 36.3 billion. Can this state just look for 1% of this market? Just 1% is good enough. Just 1% is good enough. That's 0.36 billion. That's about $300 million. In today's Nigeria, $100 million is 70 billion. So even if you are using the rate, that's 40 billion naira. So the state have enough to be able to protect itself and cover its expenses. And it can also sell in Africa to Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, South Africa, Kenya, and the like. And this is $3.73 billion. For corn, can we look at peanut? You know, I was on the program today, and someone was saying that he went to Walmart in the US. Walmart in the US, that he wants to be supplying Walmart peanut. And guess what? And guess what? Walmart in the US is asking this guy, can you give me 100 containers of peanut, roasted peanut every month? 100 containers. That is where a state government comes in, harness the potential of all the producers in your state and ship this thing to America. The guy told Walmart he will come back because he knows he can't meet that demand. He can't meet that demand. 100 containers of peanut every month. 100 containers of peanut every month. This state, Kebbi State, can take advantage of this. $3.19 billion for granite, $171 million market in Africa alone. How about onions? Onions. Imagine onions. So imagine onions. So onions. $7 billion. So the state can decide to sell onion. It can even sell it in West Africa. $7 billion. The demand in Africa is $318 million from Senegal to Cote d'Ivoire, to Guinea, to Mauritania, to Mozambique, to Ghana, to Mali, to Angola, to Morocco, to South Africa. How about wheat? How about wheat? Another important one. Wheat. Wheat. $44.1 billion. And Nigeria do a lot of import of wheat. And we have opportunities to produce locally. I know CBN is trying to fund some companies to produce wheat in Nigeria now. And the reason basically is, we are incurring a lot of forex to purchase wheat. So why can't we produce locally where we can produce? Turkey, Indonesia, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco. Do you notice something? That in Africa, the North African are major consumer of wheat because of bread. Because of bread. In Africa alone, $12.5 billion out of the $44 billion market for wheat in the world. Africa alone, $12.5 billion. Egypt, Nigeria, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Sudan, Kenya are major buyers. Then rice, $24.7 billion is the market size for rice. Kebbi is already doing this with Lagos. Kebbi can do a lot in rice production. And the market demand in Africa is 6.06 billion. Benin, Senegal, Mozambique, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, Ghana, Egypt, Togo, Kenya, Mozambique, Somalia are all major markets. Proposal. Here is my proposal to the state government of Kebbi State. Any of these value chain can be used to drive this proposal. Typically, in the value chain of most agri products, from the production to harvest and transport, to primary processing and storage, to secondary processing and packaging, to marketing and sale, to logistics, export and distribution, you tend to see SME alone. Different SME or even the same SMEs. As long as the operators of this value chain are SMEs, will have inefficient value chain operator, low processing capacity and low output, few job creation, low quality and packaging, high cost of production, non-competitive product in the export market. Non-competitive product in the export market. Non-competitive product in the export market. Now, if we bring in a large corporate, for example, pick up any of the products we have talked about, from cotton to corn to peanut, and we are painting a scenario whereby there is an SME producing the primary production, harvesting and transport, different SMEs, but they are producing for SME2 to buy, and SME2 only look for market after giving the raw materials to the large corporate to process and package. If I bring in my peanut, I go out with peanut, roasted peanut that is packaged. If I bring in my cotton, I come out with my cotton yarn. If I bring in my corn, I come out with my corn powder or whatever final product I want. But the fact is that SME are not the one. SMEs are not the one that are processing and packaging. Why? If we keep SME there, we are going to see have inefficient value chain operator. In this model, and this is a model that, this model is not new. I actually saw it firsthand myself in the UK. I was blown away in Leicester, actually. And I was, I'm just imagining how SME can easily grow, how export can easily grow, how you can easily support SMEs. This SME, we don't have to worry about power, generator, funding for packaging, quality, certification. Why? Because this creates efficient value chain operator, high processing capacity and high output, good quality and packaging, low cost of production, competitive product in the export market, high job creation, decrease inequality, and of course, decrease insecurity. In order to support exporters in Kebbi State to enter export market in Africa, Europe, and America in a secure and sustainable way, what the state government need to do is to partner with representatives at destination to market and secure contract, set up warehouses for pickup by retailer and wholesaler at destination, set up an entity, agent or distributor at destination, partner with independent agent or distributor at destination, and organize and sponsor manufacturer for exhibition in the export market. For exhibition in the export market. How does the state profit directly from export? Let's look at a product like sugarcane and see how the state can profit from it directly. Directly. How do we do that? How do we do that? If 10% of the state, of the farmland in this state has 1,413,000 hectares of land. If 10% of this, just 10% of this is cultivated, the yield per hectare is 20 metric tons. Possible yield is 2.8 million tons of sugar cane. 2.8 million tons of sugar cane. $2.8 million tons of sugar cane. At the exchange rate, at the rate of 518 per metric ton, what do you have? Total exportable sugar cane per metric ton at 2.8 million tons. That's $1.46 billion. At an exchange rate of 450, 607 billion. Cost of cultivated sugar cane plus the profit of the farmers plus the cost of export. If you deduct that from the total income, the state still have about 428 billion plus the IGR 442 billion. 442 billion. The budget of this state is 186 billion in 2022. All we are saying is that the state should partner with a private sector that can process and package this for export. The state can have 80% of the earnings of that company. The state fund this private sector, provide input for farmers, form the farmer into cooperative across the state. Across the state. Across the state. Having done that, he can issue purchase order to farmers, and this can be backed by a guarantee. So the farmer knows that I'm producing for the state government to buy off me. So the state government is buying off me directly. So that means if I produce at X amount of money, I put 30% on it. My state government, immediately I finish farming, I harvest, deliver it to a location where it will be processed and packaged for export. They are being trained and given the right input, and they are given a guarantee that the state government is going to buy. The state government is going to buy. The SPV provide collection center for farmers. SPV process the product for export. SPV source for buyers, do documentation and shipment. SPV present document to buyers bank for payment. SPV pay farmers and share balance to the state. And the state can use its own share for development. Now, how do you get this done? The impact of the suggested model for state government The impact of the suggested model for state government goes beyond generation of revenue via export. It has humongous impact on employment generation and increased economic activity in the state. In my opinion, this is a more effective, efficient, and enduring model for diversifying the economy of any state in Nigeria. Of any state in Nigeria. This model can help to replicate, can be replicated rather by the federal government at the federal level, especially for the exportation of solid minerals. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for being able to join today. See you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and bye-bye for now.